All right, back to working on the C10, C20 swapperoo. So far, since the last video, all I've really done is gather some parts and kind of see in there the welds and whatever. That when I originally put these bed sides on this bed floor, I never re-welded down. That's the bed floor in there, and then the bed side gets tack welded to that, and then it's bolted along the rest of it. Never bothered to do that, but now I wanted a functioning tailgate, even though it doesn't really look that great, but it works. But those pieces are just to make the bedside solid so they don't flop around, and just got to fix the skin here because the gap, which you can kind of see, I guess you can't really see it, but the skin got pulled away when I pulled it off. But main focus is, this is the parts truck that unfortunately is the parts truck rather, but as you can see, other than having the patch where I cut for like the transfer case and stuff, this was a 70 C10 already. The only rust in this cab, other than cab corners, is just a little bit right here. So get the cab corners and that rust fixed up. You can kind of see right there. And then obviously not using the doors. And then other than that, just got a little bit of denting from the forklift taking the cab off the parts truck that it came from. But this truck originally had a 6-inch front lift, just a 10 bolts small block that was pretty worn out, and then 700 R4. So it was basically all 80s drivetrain with the 70s body on it. And yeah, gonna finish pulling this one apart and then get back to the other. Got the 6-lug, quote-unquote 6-lug conversion on the front done, which is just buying a set of rotors off of a 92 to 99 Chevy 3/4 ton 2-wheel drive, because it's a 6-lug versus the 1500, the half-ton 2-wheel drive, which is a 5-lug. And the bearings all swapped over, the spindles are the same size, and when I was doing that, I realized the bleeder valve on that caliper wasn't really all that good, so I had one of my spare calipers from a 4-wheel drive 2500, a 6-lug one, and they bolt right up. Easy swap, just as if it's the same, you ordered the direct placement for a 2-wheel drive. So after I get this done and button back up, I'm gonna go ahead and get to trying to reach these fittings in there on the transcooler, because I split a line when I put the core support on because the radiator fell back. And then I've got a transcooler off of that truck to plumb through probably that hole, or I might go ahead and drill a new hole for the lines because the grill might hit the lines. So yeah, that's where we're at now. All right, so I've got the whole front clip kind of haphazardly bolted on just because I still plan to swap the cab, but I needed it to be drivable, movable and such. And got the brakes all done, got the tie rods in, and eyeball adjusted. There might be a little bit of alignment that needs to be done, but drives on the road pretty good. And then here's the transcooler with some dash 6 AN fittings that I got off of eBay because they seemed fine. They worked on the other truck, so. And I did end up running it through that hole and just kind of zip tied it up temporarily until I either make brackets or just keep it zip tied up. I don't know yet. But I've got the 73-74 grill, so it's the deep one. Then it's contacts here and it's level here. So I just chopped off the 76 to 79 grill mount brackets just to give the hood latch area some stability, some support. And yeah, I got that all done. And actually it's kind of parked a little bit different now because I've done some test driving on it. Still got to do either find some or make some for the rear wheel tubs, but the brakes all bled out, and it's honestly probably the truck with the best brakes I've driven. at least in a very long time. But yeah, I just slapped a seat in there. Didn't even worry about making anything sealed up because, like I said, I plan on swapping the cab. There's the grill. It's definitely not the best paint job, but I did it like 8 years ago at this point. So now I do have to shim the rear end because the pinion angle with the 2-piece drive shaft is very, I don't know if you can, kind of hard to show it, but it's very not right. But it's getting there. What else? Right now I was working on taking one of the 70s front bumpers, making brackets work to bolt that on the back, and I'm going to modify it to look just like the 70s pickup sport bumper, which is basically a direct copy of the front, but it has an extra hole here, and the license plate area is recessed in, and obviously you got the license plate light above it. But I'm just gonna make what I have work, and yeah, that's where we're at now. I just finished cutting out technically the bumper bracket support pieces, because right now I didn't realize that this piece here is welded and riveted in, so I gotta figure out what to do for the middle mount. But here's what I was saying with how it's just an extra hole, and then you got a little bit of adjustment, and then this lines up eyeball pretty good. Now the only difference is this bumper's got more curvature here compared to the step bumper. But I mean, a little hammering, a little work on it, and it should equal out pretty good. And I don't know if this is gonna be a permanent solution to cover up this gap between the hitch and the gate, but it'll at least do for now. Yeah.